Last week, we launched our summer wellness series, Beach Busters. It's all about making little changes in your diet, your exercise routine, and your mindset so that when the summertime comes, you're feeling good.
Okay, we challenged 3 brave viewers, Terry Wolf, Shamice Bellany, and Patty Roman, to go on a plan with life strategist Valorie Burton, Today nutritionist Joy Bauer, and the Biggest Loser trainer, Erica Lugo. Let's see how their first week went.
This week has been phenomenal. I feel like I've learned so many new tools and tips and tricks that I can take into my life. The food was phenomenal, and being a busy mom, I was able to throw most of them together in about 30 minutes. Well, of course, the workouts have kicked my butt, but in a good way. I feel like I'm getting stronger day by day, so it's been a good first week.
I think the word that would best describe this first week is awareness. Just more aware of what my day needs to look like, aware of how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling great. I definitely feel more alert than I have in a long time. I think the biggest struggle is fitting it all in and taking that time, and when something suddenly comes up, what do I do in that situation? I think that's been a challenge for me as well.
In general, I'm super been happy with the recipes so far. Being that my son is at a stage where he's super picky, I gave it to him and he loved it as well. It's me that I need to take care of myself, and that will give me the path to happiness. I see that there's so many people behind us, motivating us, cheering us on. So it makes me feel really, really good that what everyone goes through, I'm not going through it alone.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
All right, now for week 2, we're all about changing the inside before you can change the outside. Our pal Valorie Burton is here with some tips for our Beach Busters, Terry, Shamice, and Patty. Hey, everybody. And Valorie, let's just start with you. You told each of the ladies that they should ask themselves 3 very important questions. So what were those 3?
Yes, I asked them to journal through some questions. So what do you want? So making the goal really clear. Why do you want it? What's the purpose behind it? And then what will it take to get there? So what will you have to change in order to get there is the question that this week we're really more focused on.
Yeah, so how, for anybody watching at home and for these 3 women, what do you do? How do you ask yourself that? Like, how do you think about your life and plan that out?
Well, I think it takes some self-reflection to understand what the obstacles are to getting to where you want to go. And typically they are internal. It's that mindset. So like with Terry, she said last week, I want to follow through. I don't want this to just be the 5-week journey. A year from now, I still want to be doing it. And a big piece for her is she's accountable to everybody else. As a teacher, she's always accountable, but she's not always accountable to herself. So I'm working with her specifically around understanding how important it is to honor her own needs and to love herself.
And Terry, you're, Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, by the way, Terry. Hey, girl. And you talked about how something sort of caught you by surprise emotionally.
Well, speaking with Valorie was unbelievable. It touched me in a way that I really didn't expect, and I burst into tears. I've often heard that you make time for yourself, and I have, but what Valorie showed me was to truly be accountable for myself. I'm accountable at work, I'm accountable at home, as a mom, as a friend, but truly being accountable for myself. And I had to look at it in a completely different way, and what it means to love yourself, and not that, I can't love myself, but really deep down inside. And so I started focusing on things that are important to me, and focusing on, hey, I do every morning my gratitude journal, every morning my meditation, and Hoda, like you always say, saying thank you for that compliment that we always forget.
Yes.
And that was big.
Right,
That's big.
I received that. That's good, yeah.
I received that, right.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, let's move on to Shamice. Valorie, you say that she needs to work on boundaries a little bit more, which I think we all do.
Yeah.
Shamice, how's it been going?
Well, Valorie and I talked, and I feel like she fixed my life in one phone call. I had I had identified different things that I thought were the source of like contention and overwhelm, and she helped me realize that it wasn't so much about the tactical pieces. It was really not having the right boundaries. And I piled all these things on my plate, and I would tell myself, I'll make time. And Valorie said, there is no making time. You are stealing time from yourself and your family. And so if I reprioritize things, then I do have the time that I didn't realize I had to take care of me. So she was awesome, and I can't wait to keep working on building some more boundaries in my life.
Valorie, you're a dream maker. I mean, you're literally changing lives. Let's go to Patty, because we want to hear what Patty had to say. And Patty needed to put herself first. So Patty, how did you go about taking Valerie's advice?
Well, I went out to brunch, and Valorie was with me, but she wasn't physically there, but she was mentally in the back of my mind, reminding myself that I can take time for myself and not feel guilty, doing it for myself, my well-being, and feeling great about that, not wanting to go out and feeling that, oh, I should be home with my son, being home doing this with my husband, and really being free and not having that guilt in the back of my mind. She really helped me through it, and I love her for that,
That is such an important thing.
Valorie, we want to hear from you. We're going to take a quick commercial break because we want to hear a little bit more, because I think there's so much takeaway stuff here, even if you aren't these three lovely ladies. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. We want more Valorie Burton. Okay, she's been guiding our three beach busters on their journey to wellness.
Okay, and Valorie, you have 3 questions for anyone following at home that they should be asking themselves this week, and then we need some advice from you. So quickly, the 3 questions we should all ask. Take out a pen and some paper. And what should we be asking ourselves?
So the first one is about finding the time for this, finding the time for health and wellness. And it's what is it I can say no to? A lot of times we have things we have been saying yes to for too long. It's time to say no and make space. Number 2 is about making the commitment to yourself. So what are the little things you can do this week to be good to yourself, whether it's a walk or drinking more water or just accepting that compliment like Terry said. And then number 3, you want to boost your positive emotion that helps you set better goals and stick with them. So ask, what could I look forward to? Because anticipation is a happiness trigger, having something to look forward to.
You talked about boundaries, and I think we get confused. We're like, but I'm close to my friend. I'm close to this person. How do you establish, like, loving boundaries?
Well, it's really important to get clear about the time you need for yourself and your family. In Shamice's case, she was stealing time from her sleep, from her family, in order to do things that weren't as high of a priority. So decide what your priorities are and recognize that when you're saying yes to things that aren't as high of a priority, you're saying no to the things that are. And it's hard to set boundaries, but you can do it. Do it lovingly. Like, I would love to do this for you, but I can't right now because of the season of life that I'm in.
Oh, that's good.
I also think you can ask yourself what fills you up and then what leaves you feeling depleted or bad afterwards, and then you can make your decisions based on that. The last thing, you talked with Patty about getting rid of that guilt. We only have a few seconds left, but how do we do it?
You want to distinguish between the false guilt and the authentic guilt. Authentic guilt is the stuff you really have done wrong, but for most women especially, it's the false guilt. We feel like we're doing something wrong. Let that go. You're doing well. Give yourself credit for what you're doing
I mean, and just as basic as you were saying, all she was doing was having brunch.
Yes.
And she felt like, oh, but maybe I should be there.
Somewhere
it's
else,
like,
and then you're not really in one place, you know?
What is that line? Be here now.
Yes.
Be here now.
Okay.
Valorie, you rock.
Thank you, Valorie.
Thank you both. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay, for the full Beach Busters plan and to get started, because do it with us. We're doing it. Go to hodaandjenna.com.